Welcome into our 20th edition of Sports Den on North Metro TV. I'm Mary Rominger alongside Bill Hupp. Love is in the air. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, Bill. And we start off the show with the game that stole headlines, not only in Minnesota, but really all over. One of the most exciting girls hockey games we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, no question about it. One of the longest, if not the longest game in state history, but no spoiler alerts. We're going to leave that for the end. It's Anoka and Blaine 6-3 at Fogarty Arena on Saturday afternoon. First period, Blaine turns it over in a bad spot, and Reese Kristoff makes them pay, wristing one past Bengals goalie Haley Hansen to put the Tornadoes on top. Midway through the second, Bengals on the power play. Grace Knowles feeds Bella Brady at the top of the zone. She makes a nifty move into the slot and buries it top shelf to tie the game at 1. Later in the game, Anoka thinks they've won it on a Georgia Francois shot, and they're celebrating. Blaine devastated, but wait a moment. The puck is buried in Haley Hansen's pads. So the game plays on. It would stay tied at 1 for a while. No goals scored for the next 6 periods. But in the 6th overtime, the puck slides out to Kayla Schaefer at the top of the zone. She fires it past Anoka goaltender Gretchen Pavarud. The Bengals win it in 6 overtimes by a final of 2-1.
Honor. I am so incredibly proud of my team, and I'm so excited to continue on this section runoff and see what our team can do. After all, it is my senior season and final year, and I just want to end the season strong. So basically, there was a girl in the slot. She goes in for the 1T and she shoots, and it felt like I was like, it's under my pad. She went 5-hole with it, and then they're all celebrating like they scored. And I was like, my season did not just end on a 5-hole goal. Like, no way, it couldn't have. And we get up, and then we're looking in the back of the net. It's not there. And then we're like, wait, check your pads, check your pads. So I check my right pad first, and it is not there. And I hear my teammates in the back, come on. And I check the left one, and I grab it, and I hold it up, and we jump, and our team was so excited. We had a second chance, and ultimately it helped lead our team to continue on, and 6 OTs later or something like that, and we finally won the game.
It's pretty crazy. First goal, a lot of nerves going on with that one, but when I needed it, it went in.
Kayla Schaefer, her first goal in a Blaine sweater, wins it. Look at the shots on goal in this game. Blaine 91, Anoka 50. Terrific game from Pavarud. 89 saves, just the 2 goals allowed. Blaine staves off the upset attempt, however. Haley Hansen, her usual brilliant self, stopping 49 of 50 shots that she faced.
That was just stunning. Well, a forever memorable start to the tournament by Blaine. And next, the 2-seeded Bengals came face-to-face with Grand Rapids Greenway in the 7-2A semifinals back on the ice at Fogarty Arena. Grand Rapids Greenway strikes first in the opening frame with the man advantage. Allie LeClaire's shot from the point finds the back of the net through traffic. The 1-0 score would hold until the 3rd period. Grayson Knowles with the shot to try and tie things up, but Riley Toinonen covers up. Under 6 minutes left in regulation, Blaine still trailing. GRG extends their lead. Rihanna Smith taps in the feed from LeClaire. It's 2-0 now, and with under a minute to go, GRG puts one into the empty net, and Blaine is eliminated from the playoffs with the 3-0 final. Blaine found themselves in the penalty box on 6 different occasions in this hockey game, and it proved to be the difference. But Haley Hansen stopped 40 of 42 shots on goal, and the Bengals finished the season 13-13-1 overall. Greenway with 3 different goal scorers in the shutout victory. Blaine put all the pressure on, but in the end, it's not enough. So it's the 1 and 3 seed that'll match up in the Section 7-2A championship with a trip to state on the line. Andover and Grand Rapids Greenway at Proctor Ice Arena on February 16th.
Yep, should be a fantastic game. Now let's turn our attention to Section 5AA, which also played on Saturday afternoon as Centennial Spring Lake Park, the number 2 seed, hosted the first round of the state playoffs at Roseville Ice Arena against the combined program of Mounds View and Irondale. Less than 3.5 minutes into the first, Noelle Hemmer fires one past goaltender Jennifer Rupp to give the Cougars the early 1-0 lead. Then senior Ella O'Hearn finishes off a great passing play on the doorstep, and CSLP was off and running. Later in the period, Hemmer nets her second of the period from the left dot. And you know that Lauren O'Hara will eventually get in on the scoring act for the Cougars, and she does exactly that here. The Miss Hockey finalist snipes one from the slot for a 4-0 lead. Later in the period, then Hemmer gets it out of her skates to complete the first period hat trick. It was 5-0 Cougars after one period of play. Third period, 8th grader Grace Lager gets in on the act to put the proverbial icing on the cake for CSLP. They move on to the section semis with an easy 8-0 win over Mounds View Irondale. As you see there, 8-0 the final score as they advance to the semis.
Like we did today and not get too overconfident, we can make it to the section final. And if we play hard and keep going and score that many goals, we'll make it far. We're hoping to go to state, so hoping to play Grove again in the section final. And I think next game, we did win 6-0 against them. Last game we played them, whoever wins, and 6-3. So I guess we just have to keep playing hard and not think that we already won.
We're just hoping to keep it the same, honestly. I thought we played a pretty good game, solid 3 periods, so just keeping up the energy, and we're all excited to keep going and be playing in sections, so just keep the energy up and keep it rolling.
Of course, last time Centennial advanced to the section semis, they made it to the section final last year, outshooting the Mustangs 40-15. You see a couple goals for O'Hara and O'Hearn, and Hemmer with the first period hat trick, 5 points overall, and Caitlin Gross getting the shutout with 15 saves. Great defense in front of her, and the Cougars will face a pretty tough opponent in their next game as they advance to the section semifinals. As you see the bracket here, top seeds or the seeds all held. Maple Grove will take on Champlain Park Coon Rapids tomorrow in the first game, and then North Wright County, the 3 seed, takes on Centennial. SLP Cougars trying to book a rematch against the top seed Maple Grove. If the seeds hold, it'll be a rematch of the last couple Section 5 AA finals the last couple years.
Can't wait to see how all of that shapes up. Well, turning our attention to the boys hockey scene, all the action getting underway on Saturday, starting with this Centennial versus Rosemont matchup. Rosemont wins 6-4. Centennial with a potent offense, but it's just not enough when you can't make the stops. They Rosemont with 6 goals, Garrity with 4 of his own, and a very strong win for Rosemont.
Meanwhile, Spring Lake Park defeated Highland Park by a final of 42-31. Jacob Rombach with a couple goals and an assist. Teddy Wackman with a couple assists, and they did pretty well to outshoot the Highland Park Scots and pick up another victory on the season.
More action from Saturday. Blake defeats Blaine 7-1. The shots on goal margin quite lopsided. 59 shots on goal for Blake. Blaine with just 8, but it's McCoy with the lone goal for the Bengals.
Zane Spaniel having to do a lot of work in that game. As we took a look at the standings in the Northwest Suburban Conference, Centennial sitting there right below a couple section rivals in Rogers, Maple Grove, and Champlain Park. Cougars with a couple big games, including one against Andover coming up. Those will be big. Blaine sitting at the bottom of the standings in the very competitive NWSC. Spring Lake Park, as you see, even in terms of their conference record. But yeah, big games coming up. Just a couple of regular season games remaining as we take a look at the final schedule for the boys hockey. As you see, Blaine with a couple home games, including a tough one against White Bear Lake to round things out. Centennial hosting Blake and then hosting Andover, big conference rival, not a section rival, but a big conference rival. And Spring Lake Park rounding things out with a pair of home games remaining on the schedule.
Wow, what a start to the show. All of the hockey action with the postseason here. I love it. It's the best time of the year.
Yeah, it really just kind of seems to go in order, right? It's, hockey and basketball and wrestling in between, and a lot of fun stuff happening, and a lot to love this time of year. Very fitting for the day before Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. Turning it over to the court now.
Yes, we go from the rink to the court as we had a couple teams in action in basketball. And it was Blaine visiting Coon Rapids in a Northwest Suburban Conference clash last Tuesday at the Roger E. Carlson Fieldhouse in Coon Rapids. Early going, Sadie Dominic drains a three from the right wing. And this will be a theme as you see 21-8 the score already. Mara Holly down low lays it in. Later in the half, Blaine up big when Molly Garber scores a bucket in the paint. This is 2 of her team high 29 points on the evening. Then they'll move it around. Good ball movement at the top. Holly drains a triple from the top. And as you see the score there, it was lopsided from the start. Maddie Bryant chips in with a transition layup, and the route was on. A lot of turnovers forced and a lot of easy transition buckets for Blaine. They win absolutely going away. One more for good measure, good interior passing, and that would do it. The Bengals crush the Cardinals 102-29, the largest margin of victory in school history. Bengals get it done on the road in impressive fashion. As we take a look at the box score, 4 players in double figures led by Garber, but you see 4 players with 15 points or more, and just a tough night at the office for the Coon Rapids Cardinals.
Oh man, but an exciting one for Blaine.
Yes.
Yeah, like to see that high-powered offense.
And they improved the field goal percentage of the team. You have to imagine the field goal percentage got a big boost from that one. But like I said, the largest margin of victory in school history.
Well, next up, a rivalry matchup between Spring Lake Park and Centennial. Early in the first half, Brianna Gorish banks in a shot from the line. Nice ball movement, and it's for the Panthers to tie the. We'll move into the tied portion of the game. A8 Cougars pushing the pace. There's Jordan Metz with the shot from long range. Metz finished with 12 points. Centennial again. Marissa Frost drives the lane and she tosses up the bucket. This is where the Cougars began to pull away before the half. Nice work from Macy Littlefield. She gets down low for a shot off the glass and in. To the second half, it's Frost again with more points in the paint. She led the floor with 20 points. Frost, the all reliable for this Cougars team. Centennial forces the turnover. Autumn McCall on the fast break, and she lays it in. SLP within 15 points. Brianna Nosbaum cuts it down with the triple from the corner. But in the end, Centennial is too much to handle as they go on to win 62-44.
Very comfortable win for Centennial as they do what they do.
Win here, not a whole lot of home games left, but to get the victory tonight, what did that mean to you? It means a lot. Obviously, I make every game count, especially this one. I feel like since I was little, it's just been rivals against Spring Lake Park, so I'm really glad just to pull this one through for the last time.
And as you think about just what tonight looked like, you guys had a neck-and-neck game, back and forth in the first half. What changed? How do you think you guys were able to get that pull-away points there at the end of the first half?
Honestly, I think it was just our energy and working together. I feel like that always pulls us together the most.
You stepped in, got a few big threes. What has that been like? Have you always been someone who's been able to nail those shots from deep?
It's just been the confidence going into it and like knowing if you're a shooter or not. And I think my teammates look for me, which is super nice, and getting those opportunities. So yeah.
And what are some of those things that maybe you guys were working on in the second half as you wrap up this regular season?
I think it's just like executing our plays and like running all of our plays right and doing our defense strong, bringing the defensive energy to the offensive side, and just having the energy throughout the whole game.
Centennial with the 62-44 win. Frost leading the floor with 20 points. Centennial is now 13-6 and 9 overall with 11 conference wins, continuing to show why they're the best team in the area, playing some really solid basketball.
No surprise, the NDSU commit in Frost leading the way, and Metz, the goalie for the Centennial perennial powerhouse, their soccer team. And good to see her, a multi-sport athlete like so many of these kids are.
Northwest Suburban Conference standings, Centennial with those 11 conference wins in third place in the conference standings, 13 and 9 overall. A little further down, you have Blaine and Spring Lake Park both with 6 and 9 in conference records. Blaine, though, with a 12-9-0 overall record. And for the upcoming schedules for all three of the area's girls basketball teams, Blaine with the matchup at STMA, then home at Spring Lake Park, and that matchup will be on North Metro TV. You'll be on the call, right?
That's
Phil?
right, yeah.
And then for Centennial, they couple tough matchups recently against Maple Grove and, of course, Spring Lake Park. And ahead of Sunoka, and then they travel to Blaine, and that Centennial and Blaine matchup will be on North Metro TV. Spring Lake Park trying to bounce back from 2 recent losses at Blaine, and then they'll come home to Osseo.
Well, very exciting stuff happening on the girls' side of things, but things are also happening on the boys' side of things. There was a cat clash late last week, and we had it for you here on North Metro TV as Centennial visited Spring Lake Park last Thursday. A battle between two teams that were coming on late. And first half, it was all sophomore Jackson Driesen for Centennial. He sets the feet and drains a left wing three. He had 6 of the Cougars' 9 3-pointers in the first half. Mikey Say kept his team in the game by attacking the bucket. He had it going early. And it's Bo Johnson going to work on the block. Nice pass underneath, feeding Ashton Turner for a beautiful bucket. Just before the break, Driesen goes backdoor for 2 of his 21 first half points, and Centennial trailed 36-35 at the half. Second half now, Braden Talso gets in on the act. He led the Panthers with 17 in the game. Cougars keeping it close, though. Nice bounce pass here from Ty Burgoon to Jacob Hosfield to pull them within 3. But the Panthers' defense, led by Say and Talso, was disruptive all night, turning steals into points, as Kyrie Shaw demonstrated here. Panthers salted away at the line late. They pull away and win it 81-70 over Centennial. You had a real lockdown effort on Ty Burgoon, who came in averaging 21 points in his last 3 games. You took a lot of pride, though, it seemed like, in locking him down.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely on the scout, on the film. You know, he definitely leads their team, leads their offense real good. So disrupting him early was the goal, and that's what we got. That's what we did in the first half. Still let him score a little too much, but like you said, came out of halftime with a defensive purpose, and that definitely helped us get the win.
Me personally, we wanted to shut that down. So collectively, we just did not want him to score, and then collectively, as a team, didn't want him to score.
The 3-pointers were really falling in the first half for you guys as well. That must have felt like a lot of fun, just the frenetic back and forth pace of the game in that first half.
Yeah, definitely. We know we can score with the best of them. We know we can put the ball in from deep and in the paint. But yeah, it was coming out of halftime playing defense. I was going to get us the win. We know we can score on them all game. So defense was one for us.
What's been the difference here in 2023?
Yeah, for sure. As you said, we started off a little shaky, and we knew that it wasn't how we played and how we should be doing. So we wanted to turn that around. And just like Mikey said, our captain, we got hurt, so we didn't have our full squad together yet. And now that we're starting to put the pieces together, we're going to be a team that you got to look out for.
So 81-70, again, the final 4 starters for Spring Lake Park in double figures. Very balanced scoring, unlike Centennial, who was led by Driesen with a career-high 26 points and 6 rebounds. Ty Burgoon chipped in 22 points as well, but Spring Lake Park did what they had to do. They've now won 3 of their last 5 games, and they're starting to turn a corner under new head coach Oliver Major. Meanwhile, Maple Grove took care of Blaine 88-67. Blaine defense just not able to contain the Crimson attack. Jack Schusted had 22 to lead the way for the Bengals, but the Crimson, one of the best teams in the Northwest Suburban Conference, and they just simply outscored Blaine. And then we take a look at the boys basketball standings. Bengals still very much within shouting distance, right behind Maple Grove, as you can see, but it's very top-heavy with Park Center, Andover, and Totino Grace in the top 3. Spring Lake Park moving up the ranks, 6-7 now in conference play. Centennial trying to figure things out. Very young team, but performances like Jackson Dreesen's will go a long way. As we take a look at the boys basketball schedule, final couple weeks of the season coming up. Big game for Spring Lake Park as they have a couple against Columbia Heights and Blaine. Coming up, we'll have a couple of these games for you on North Metro TV. Blaine with a pretty tough finishing part of the schedule against the likes of Osseo and Andover.
Hey, Bill, I saw in the interview with SLP you had the man bun. What happened to it?
You know what? I lost a bet, and it was trimmed earlier today, and so it's time for me to look like an adult again. And,
well, it looks very
yes,
nice.
Luckily, the man bun may be gone, but the beard is never going away.
Okay, well,
so
there we go.
don't worry,
we have
all
that.
you folks out there. It's fine. So, and
yep.
You had an opportunity to see some adapted floor hockey earlier this week. One of many sports we love to bring you here on North Metro TV in the winter.
Yep, that's where we close out the show in the adapted floor hockey scene. The Anoka Hennepin Mustangs visiting Centennial Spring Lake Park, and CSLP having a strong season thus far. We've already seen it on the airwaves. First period, the rebound is loose, and Joe Johnson cleans up in front. Nice pressure by the Cougars. Later in the frame, Cougars win the face-off. Abby Pass does it all herself. She wins the face-off, then sends a rocket from the point. CSLP builds a 3-0 lead. Then a quick transition shot in front, and it's hammered home with the backhanded shot. The Cougars take the 4-0 lead, and continuing to add to it later, it's Abby again. She's lighting the lamp from all areas of the floor. Anoka Hennepin able to find the back of the net. Excitement there, and this one, the Cougars go on to win big. Goals coming in all different types of ways from the depth of this scoring attack for the Cougars. Gotta love it, Bill.
Yeah, no, a lot of fun, and great to see the effort out there. And that one, he's just claiming credit for the goal as Centennial Spring Lake Park wins in a rout.
Yep, 7 goals in the first period, then a handful more in the third. Things tightened up a little bit in the second period, but always fun to see the Cougars in action.
Yep, absolutely. And we've got games tomorrow on Valentine's Day for girls hockey in the section semis. Basketball later in the week. So much to love this time of year. But Mary, nothing we love more than fans of sports then. Thanks for tuning in to episode 20, season 20. For Mary Rominger, I'm Bill Hupp. So long. See you next week.